So we have discussed that what the brain is the one that what that have different function, and one of the main functions is that it controls what the other system of the body. One of the systems that is controlled is the respiratory system, the digestive system, the excretory system, the respiratory system, the irritability system, or every other system. The brain controls it. So let us now go back to the central nervous system, which we begin by the brain. So we now said brain is basically divided into four aspects. Into three aspects rather. The forebrain, the midbrain, and the hindbrain. We said the forebrain is also known as the what anterior brain. The midbrain is also known as the intermediary brain, while the hindbrain is also known as what the posterior brain. Right? Yes. Each of these division composed of different aspects of brain. Each of these division, the division of forebrain, midbrain, and the hindbrain, they have different what sub subcomponents of the brain. Let's take the forebrain. Let's take the forebrain. The forebrain, which we call the anterior brain, is composed of one, the cortex, yeah, the cortex. Two, it's composed of what? One of the very vital of all the brain, which is called metacephalon. Metacephalon. Cephalon. Metacephalon, the cortex, the metacephalon, the basal ganglia, the amygdala, and etc. These are just what few of what the forebrain composed of. The midbrain. Let's take the midbrain. The midbrain composed of what? Pons varolai. And let's take the hindbrain. The hindbrain composed of one of the major things that we usually play with, which is what? Medulla oblongata, and cerebellum. To remember this cortex, at times they usually call it cerebrum. But note that there is difference between the cerebrum and the cerebellum. The cerebrum is in the frontal part of the what? The frontal part of the brain, while the cerebellum is in the posterior part of the brain, at the posterior back of the around the neck side, immediately before just the medulla oblongata, because the medulla oblongata was the one that connected to the spinal cord. So immediately before the medulla oblongata, you see the cerebellum at the upper part of it. But the cerebrum is for the thinking, reasoning, judging. While the cerebellum is not for thinking, it's not for judging. It controls the posture of an human being. A posture of an human being is being controlled by the what? By cerebellum. That means that whenever you see an individual that doesn't have the normal posture, then there's an effect on the cerebellum. But when you see an individual that has a good posture, but the thinking or reasoning faculty is low beyond, in that process, that person may be under what? Under one of the categories of intellectual disability. Why? Because the reasoning faculty, the thinking faculty is below the what? Is below. And that aspect is cerebellum. Cerebellum and not cerebellum. Cerebrum and not cerebellum. Thank you. So that's just the difference between the cerebrum and cerebellum. This one is CEBRUM, while this one is CEREBUM, cerebellum. So that's just the difference between both. So uh, we have taken the brain aspect of the central nervous system. We have taken the brain aspect of the central nervous system. We said brain is divided into three parts: the forebrain, the midbrain, and the hindbrain. The forebrain is also known as the anterior brain. The hindbrain is also known as the posterior brain, while the midbrain is also known as the intermediary. Just like we discussed when you are talking about what neuron, that there's neurons that usually called intermediary neuron. That in that regard, midbrain is also called what intermediary brain, right? We now saw for each division of this brain, they also have the subdivisions, because they are made up of different aspects of the brain. And that's the reason why we say the forebrain is made up of the cortex or cerebrum. Cortex or cerebrum. This is the major what? The cortex or cerebrum is the major aspect of the brain that is make human being, higher human being, to be different from the other higher normal human being. What do I mean by this? A human being, generally, we have higher animal and lower animal, right? The higher animals are the lions, the elephants, but we have the aspect of human being that they are basically of a man, and this is the major thing that differentiates us from that other animals, which is what the cerebral cortex. So we say the forebrain has cerebral cortex, metacephalon, basal ganglia, amygdala, and the likes. Now we come to main brain. The main brain composed of what? Pons valuli. Pons valuli. While the hind brain is composed of what? The medulla oblongata and what? And the cerebellum. And we discussed a little bit about the function of each individual. We said the cerebral cortex is basically in what reasoning faculty, thinking, and the likes. So we go to the metacephalon or basal ganglia. Basal ganglia are basically in terms of emotions, the way we express our love, we express our other things. Basal ganglia is in control of that. While the amygdala is in control of what the sleeping, breathing, and the likes. So we discussed about the cerebellum as well. Talked about that it's controlled about our posture. We discussed about the medulla oblongata, which is also a little bit of part of what it's not taking process, but it also have a bit of what a bit in the posture, but not completely depend on not completely depend on the medulla oblongata. So these are the major functions of the brain. Thank you very much. Subscribe to these channels and share the link. Thank you very much.